time driving to that job. There will be a last time mowing the lawn. There will be a last time chatting with your parent. Most of us go through our last times never realizing that they are our last times because we are so focused on what is coming next, on what is tomorrow. But life is not a means to an end. The challenge that Jesus gives us in this parable is to cherish each moment, as it may unknowingly be the last of its kind. Finding joy and relaxation in the present, living in and honoring the abundance and blessing of now, that is what God desires for us. In addition to the false promise of the abundance of tomorrow mindset, Jesus' parable teaches us another false abundance, and it is the abundance of self, or the abundance of ego. Did you catch how many times in our parable the rich fool said I or my? He only has 3 verses that he speaks, but in those short sentences, those 3 sentences, he says I or my 11 times. 11 times. That is an abundance of ego, right? If I've ever seen one. It is clear that the man doesn't think of anyone but himself. When it comes to his abundant harvest, does he thank God? Does he thank the earth that provided that harvest? Does he thank his many laborers and hired hands and servants that probably had a lot to do with bringing in that harvest? No. He only thinks of himself. And then he hatches a plan for how he will keep all of his harvest for himself, never thinking twice about sharing it with others who might be in need. Even God, in the end, points out this rich fool's selfishness and isolation when God says, all this stuff, all these that you have accumulated, to whom will they go? Whose will they be now? The man is all alone. St. Basil, when preaching on this story in the 4th century, said the following: "When I have these new barns filled, you say, then I will distribute something to the poor. What keeps you from giving now? There are no hungry, perhaps? The hungry are dying in your face. The naked are stiff with cold, and you put off your alms until another day? You yourself are indeed poor, poor in love for your neighbor, poor in humanity, poor in faith in God, poor in the hope of eternity." How often do we too fall prey to the temptation to store up things for ourselves in our silos, thinking that they will make us happy, thinking that they will make us secure, thinking that we deserve them, we earned them with our hard work, we don't need to share them with others. Later in his talk about this passage, St. Basil also says, did you not come into this world naked? And will you not go out naked? Then everything you have now has been given to you from God.